welcome to Gear for Music.
Oh man, it's so good to be here. When we pulled up, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't realize I was going to be coming to a compound.
A compound?
Yeah. This is quite the facility you guys have here.
Yeah, man.
It's great to be here in York.
Amazing.
Yorkish.
Yeah, Yorkish,
Yorktown,
York City. Well, before we get into everything, like, I just wanted to ask you, like, what have you got going on at the moment? What brings you right here?
Oh man, yeah. So I'm actually, this is the last day on a tour I've been doing with Schecter. I do a lot of these clinic tours, which is kind of an odd, bit of an anomaly these days because there doesn't seem to be many people doing this. And I started out in Verona in Italy a couple of weeks ago. I was doing a camp with a couple of really amazing guitar players. Actually, a couple, Britain's very own. I was with Tom Quayle.
Oh yeah.
Jack Gardner and Andy Timmins.
Oh great.
He's obviously not one of Britain's very own, but just an amazing camp.
Yeah.
Amazing camp, and then I just kind of traveled all over. I have my new guitar with me, and just been doing the clinic thing and flying around a lot, and just very lucky to get to do it. New record coming out soon. Just trying to just stay active as much as possible.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I mean, before we get into all the gear stuff, so we've got a few questions that we've collated together. So are we okay diving into some stuff?
We are okay to dive in. Let's go. That's an interesting question. I mean, okay, so for me, songwriting seems to be, and it's interesting when you introduced me. I've never been introduced as a singer-songwriter, but there's something kind of nice about that.
I usually put, like, whenever I say songwriter, it's like
no, that's cool.
I like them together, but like
I guess,
songwriter.
I guess now because I have done a record. I've done a couple. I have a band called Archival where I do sing in that band. But as a guitar player, and guitar players were usually, at least the ones I know, we're all very insecure.
Same.
When you're now sort of tackling a new instrument, whether it's your voice or playing in a band or writing with other people or just essentially widening your circle, you tend to not, at least I don't even take it as something that you're good at. I'm still learning, I'm still developing it, so I have a hard time hearing that. So thank you very much. I don't really think about any of that stuff when, styles, when you say infusing or Stevie Ray Vaughan or Joe Satriani, these guys, I don't think about any of that stuff. I think my whole thing has always just been melodies. I like writing melodies. I like working on simple melodies and kind of trying to unlock new harmony. And I think there is a little bit of magic in stumbling onto something that makes you feel, a little bit like butterflies in the stomach, it gives you chills, or just makes you think, I haven't heard this before. That sort of drug, I guess you could say, or that pursuit has been what has sustained my interest in music. Not just playing guitar, because that's a whole other thing, but just staying interested in music and trying to move forward with all of that. I think also getting into new instruments like playing piano or trying to sing, these things, they go much further than watching another guitar player and learning some licks. I think to have those influences, it's one thing, but then to take that and maybe take it to a different instrument or be in positions that maybe, or a situation you're not very comfortable with, that's ultimately what drives me. As you can tell, it's based off of a Les Paul. No, I'm kind of in an NJ forest right now. I'm surrounded by guitars. I started playing guitar when I was about 13, 14 years old, and I could really only afford sort of the cheapest model that was on the shelves at the time. This is probably back in 2000. It was a Squire Bullet.
Classic.
And it was probably 100 Canadian dollars, which is like 8 British pounds. And that's just the guitar I grew up playing, and my hands kind of got used to that instrument, even the weight of it. You know, 5-way blade, just understanding how that instrument worked and the guts of that instrument. So I kind of just stuck with that. And it's a very simple guitar. It doesn't need to be reinvented.
Versatile as
you
well.
know, my whole thing was just like, let's take the guitar I love and I'll have, you know, this amazing company basically develop a version of it where it's taking really great premium parts, but you know, we can still kind of keep the cost down. And you know, it's based off of their line, their traditional line. My kind of, I suppose, additions or appointments to it would be the pickup configuration. I like the exposed truss rod, the wheel and the base of it. Some of them have an ebony fingerboard.
That's on.
Some of them have a baked,
traditionals,
like a
and the
baked
maple.
or caramelized or a cooked or a sort. You know, pan-fried, whatever you want to call the maple. Pan-fried maple, Canadian maple. You know, 25.5-inch, 14-inch radius. It's just, you know, alder body. It's just an absolute workhorse of a guitar. And it was sort of based around the needs of somebody who is traveling a lot. I started doing a lot of work with the Schecter, and I live in Canada where it's either too hot or too cold. So it needs to, you know, it needs to be able to survive different temperatures. It needs to be able to survive in a gig bag. I still check my guitars. I still throw it under the plane, and I have no problems with. So I just needed to be like a rock solid guitar, and you know, they were really cool with just sort of taking something and not over stylizing it. I think
bringing it into the modern domain. Really.
Yeah, I think you can go with a signature model. You can kind of go sometimes too far and maybe give it too many flashy graphics or put your name all over it. Or, you know, put a paint job that kind of screams this style of music or that style of music. Whereas I just wanted it to be subtle. I find I do sometimes overplay on stuff, but I do believe there's a certain subtlety in just like my melodies and stuff. So I wanted that reflected in the instrument. It started to kind of pick up steam and do well enough to where I could kind of give it different paint jobs and different colors. And
but it's certainly a popular model. It's certainly a popular model.
Yeah, it turned out really great. And then we did the T-type guitar, which is based around obviously the Telecaster, which, you know, I think I was about 21 or 22, and I had really gotten sick of my guitar playing. I was always using a Wayne bar and everything, and it made me sound like I was trying to be an 80s kind of shrapnel player. Yeah, and then I had a buddy, I remember he told me I sounded terrible. He was like, man, you suck. It's not good. I was like, yeah, I know.
That's not nice.
So, you know, but
that's kind of what
your
makes
buddy,
it get
right?
better, though. Yeah.
So anyway, I sold everything and I bought a Telecaster and completely changed the way I played, the way I thought about guitar, cleaned my technique up. And when I was offered, you know, Schecter said, do you want to do another model? I was like, well, you know, you got to have the other side of the coin.
It's the perfect balance.
So
the two sides
that
of it.
and that. Yeah,
Solid,
and then it's, you know, it's similar kind of setup. Although the cool thing is, which I'd never really played, and I just thought it was an interesting idea, was to put a humbucker in the neck.
Yeah, man.
And it just kind of gives it this growl and this real warmth and this kind of this throatiness.
Yeah.
You know, if you will.
Just add another paintbrush to your
yeah.
you know,
I like
palette
that.
of sound.
That's right, I like that. Another paintbrush.
Yeah.
So it's pretty straightforward, and when you play one, because it's got especially that nice kind of satin finish on the back of the neck. The custom shop has more of a wenge.
Yeah, that's solid wenge in the neck, isn't it? Yeah.
Wenge and ebony with the brass ring inlays, which I absolutely, I love that little appointment on these
little
guitars.
clips moving.
You know, I was real obsessed with this video game that came out a number of years ago called The Witcher. It was The Witcher 3.
Oh yeah.
And there was just to nerd it a little bit here. There was a school in the game. There's different Witcher schools, and this is the Griffin school. And there's something about the colors. It was basically brass or gold with this kind of like greenish, bit of yellow, bit of tan. And my first model, the atomic green one, was essentially kind of based around one of Geralt's swords.
That's so cool.
With the little brass rings, because you could set the stones in them. Actually, it's funny, I remember that the guys at CD Projekt Red heard that, and I think they bought one and had it in the studio for a while.
No way.
It was pretty cool. But anyway, so it started there, and it just started kind of, you know, in a real innocuous way. Someone reached out, and we just, because, you know, I always thought of Schecter as a metal brand and a sort of new metal brand, and I wasn't really ever into that stuff. I was too young for it maybe, or I liked more 70s stuff in my dad's record collection. So when I had the opportunity to play with Schecter, I was like, I don't really know what I would do. But then I realized, oh, they had this whole kind of
conversation with their US shop.
There's this pedigree of like, you know, custom shop models, and Sunset Custom, and, you know, some of the guys at these other brands, like, you know, Tom Anderson, John Suhr, like, they're all kind of from the same crop. So it has this real amazing legacy.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky to have been the one that they almost 10 years ago said, we're going to reboot the custom shop, and we want your ugly face as the poster boy.
Well, refined guitarists, refined players,
So there you go.
Part and parcel, you know what I mean?
That's a nice one too. You're full of these. I like as wide of a fret as you can give me.
Nice.
I like as much real estate. I like to,
good for bending and good for tremolo stuff.
Yeah, and I don't have huge hands, but I'm not too concerned about the neck, the size of the neck. I like the radius kind of essentially. I don't like it when it's tapering or it's compound. I like it just
set straight down.
Yeah, a set neck.
Okay.
Obviously bolt-on neck too. And I know some people were asking real early on, why I wasn't doing stainless steel frets, and I don't like stainless steel frets.
They give quite a bright, like almost. I find it quite bright.
Yeah, there's definitely a brightness, but I find I had really nice guitars in the past that had stainless steel frets, and I used to burn through them. Like everyone was,
wow.
Oh, you never. I had to change frets many times with them. And it's funny. I'm starting to see other really premium brands now are switching over to the German steel.
Yeah.
So change is coming. But I think even these particular frets, the size of them, the neck, like it's 25.5 inch, 14-inch radius. It's just what I grew up playing.
Yeah.
And my hand is it's at home. And I did a bunch of videos and I just picked a random one up and retuned it. And it's like, it's good.
Yeah.
It's set up beautifully. I mean, who's ever setting them up? The QC on them it's ridiculous. So
honestly, every time I've got one out of the box, it's always been
crazy.
Pretty much there, or just a few little tweaks, and it's perfect.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I have nothing really to say other than I had from the beginning the neck I wanted. Back before there was even the signature model, we did something in the Masterworks, and it was just from day one. It was like, okay, and I haven't changed anything. I haven't for almost 10 years now. The only thing that's maybe changed is the pickups. We've done a couple different iterations of the pickups.
Yeah, you've got your own kind of custom voiced pickups now, haven't you?
Yeah, there's two sets. There's the atomics and the subatomic ones, and I got the humbucker now. And these, the Diamond Series ones, they're kind of an approximation, as close as you can get without being hand wound. Keep the price down so people can actually afford them.
I'm
not picky, man. I don't think having extremely spec'd out gear to the point of insanity is going to make me a better player. It's going to maybe change a few things here and there, but I don't know what it is. I can't really hear tone woods. I can't really hear. I play this pickup or that pickup. Maybe I'll hear a little difference, but I'm more so about the output, like how much output is there.
Yeah.
I did want to get rid of a lot of that nasal thing.
Yeah.
Some of the mid-range. I used to play these antiquity pickups, which were cool. I won't talk too much about the brand, but I just found they were too nasally.
Yeah. A bit quacky.
Yeah. So I essentially ripped all that out, and we kind of lowered the output because I like to hit real hard.
Yeah.
And that's what we got.
Like if we were to call one of them, your toolbox. It's providing for yourself, but also many of the guitarists that would be interested in these guitars. Yeah. It provides just the right amount of versatility to be able to experiment. So as you say, the output is going to be as versatile as what you want to play.
Yeah, and now that you can, with the one with the humbucker where you can tap the coil too, I think it.
Same on the PTs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just kind of provides this nice range that maybe I didn't have access to as a kid too. Say, I want some more of this or more of that. But other than that, I mean, I don't change if it's working, because like I said, it was built to be thrown under a plane.
Yeah.
I don't want more shit on it that's gonna
get in the way.
Break.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Developing your own sound is a truly singular pursuit that I don't think a guitar just by itself is gonna solve. But I think what's cool about playing guitar again with single coils is it does allow you, or does force you to listen a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think you know, with something like a single coil, where it is very much, it's this kind of like, it's just this magnet that's going to pick everything up around you. If you're not careful with it, it can scream at you, it can fight you back. There's something really cool about taming that animal and understanding how to use a volume knob again. You know, I see a lot of people playing guitar and they don't touch the blade, or they don't touch the volume, they don't touch the tone knob, which I think is, it's interesting because there is so much, there's a whole palette of colors just on, you know, I had a guy last night at the clinic asking me, so when you play the low strings, are you using the neck pickup or the bridge pickup? I'm like, man,
that's such a...
It's just interesting because I've never thought like that. It's just, I don't know. But then he's like, okay, cool, so you don't know. What are you doing with the tone knob? It's like, I'm just listening.
Yeah.
You just have to listen. So I think...
See what fits the right, fits the song really, or fits the vibe.
I think so. I think if anyone's looking to develop their sound, you can do it with any instrument. It's just, how does it feel in your hands and is it inspiring you? I find when I pick up one of these guitars, I just want to play guitar. And if I can sit and play my instrument and just for the joy of it, for nobody, just at home in my studio or in my basement or my bedroom, whatever, then I'm sounding like me, and the sound should ideally over time translate, and it should sound more like my hands and how hard I'm hitting, and you know, the decisions I make and the mistakes I make become unique to myself too. Again, it's just like, is this tool going to inspire you to chase after something? I think the reason why I've gotten sort of anywhere with if I do have a sound at all, it has nothing to do necessarily with just the guitar or the amp. It's kind of a combination of everything. It's playing live, it's restraining yourself, it's picking when you want to take risks, and you know, like I came in here today and I hadn't played guitar, and we had a very long travel day, and I just came in and kind of retuned them and played it, and it's just like, oh, it sounds like me. It's just because you've put the hammer to the anvil a billion times. You just know what you're doing. Again, as long as it's inspiring you, you're going to develop a sound. They're great. You know, I don't seem to have any issue with them. They're kind of the stock ones they put on all their instruments.
And
they're fantastic. Yeah, the custom shop ones are bulletproof. I use typically a bar with the custom shop model when I'm playing when I'm touring. And you know, I used to be terrified of tuning when it came to using a bar, because I used at one point a Floyd Rose, and oh my god, what a nightmare. But switching back to sort of the 2-point system, I like the way their bridge is essentially just drilled into the instrument, and the way the pivot of it. You just use 2 springs in the back. I have it set up so it floats a little bit. I can get essentially 1/8 of a rise in pitch and whatever I want in a decrease in pitch. But that's just what they did. I showed up and it was already built. I just was like, oh, cool, this works. So yeah, I have not much to say on that.
Cool.
Other than they're great. I think you just have to try one. I think you can look at them. It's like anything. You have to try. Although I will say, if you do kind of just cold purchase one of these guitars, you'll be very happy with it. I mean, the reputation it has now is far beyond myself. A lot of people buy these guitars, they have no idea who I am, and that's fantastic. And that's kind of the best thing you can hope for with a signature model, is that it transcends the artist. You know, it has, in a certain way, has become a bit of a standardized tool for a lot of people who maybe don't want to pay for a guitar from the Big F, or don't want to pay for a guitar that, you know, might cost 10 times the price, that maybe won't stay in tune, or, you know, you won't want to take the pick. Like, I would be okay to gut the guitar, put new pickups in it, try something different. You know, it's okay to put multiple springs in the back, or try different string gauges, or you know, anything. Put a preloaded pickguard in it. There's something about these guitars that it just seems to work. And you know, whether you come to the store, whether you come to Gear for Music and try one, or you know, wherever you're living, or you just go on a site and buy the damn thing, you're gonna get something, I think, that will be useful in some situation. And again, I just have to say, it has become a popular model for a reason. Not necessarily because of me. And I think there's a lot to say about that, because that doesn't really happen very often. So I think it's worth just checking one out. You know, and I've used them on my records. Both. I don't just play. I tour with the custom shop a lot because I'm throwing it under a plane. But you know, the records have a combination of both. I've produced records for people, and they've used the Diamond series on them. So it just depends on what you can get your hands on. But you can't go wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely
get
been
one
such a...
or two or three. I know people that have like 5 of them.
Yeah,
so it's cool.
A friend of mine, he has 2 of them.
Yeah,
He has the PT.
It's amazing. It's great.
I'm
very, very, very excited. And it's just, like I said, it's cool to have a guitar do well that, in a way, almost has nothing to do with myself.
Yeah, it's because I like that. It's become bigger.
It has. Yes. Thank you for the interview. That was wonderful.
No, thank you very much. Please don't forget to check out any of our other videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please leave some comments down below of any extra things you would like for us to ask Nick. Nick, it's been an absolute pleasure you being in.
Yeah, it's been
been
wonderful.
So lovely listening to you.
I love being here. This is such a great spot. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.